You're listening to Mornings on the Mall with Brian and Larry on this Friday before Memorial Day. And coming up later this morning at 8:05, you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to have Maryland's own Dr. Ben Carson. RunBenRun.com is a very hot website. Everyone wants this man to throw his hat in the ring for president for 2016. We'll talk to the man today at 8:05. Then at 8:35, Brett Baer of Fox News Channel. I'm Larry O'Connor alongside Brian Wilson.
Joining us now on the line is former Labor and Secretary of Transportation, former Senator from this great state of North Carolina, Senator Elizabeth Dole. Senator, you have something that's very near and dear to your heart. It's the Elizabeth Dole Foundation, and it's designed to care for the military families of our wounded warriors. Tell me a little bit about this foundation and how you came to be involved with this project.
Yes, well, Brian, about 3.5 years ago, my beloved husband, Bob, was hospitalized at Walter Reed for almost 11 months. And I was there constantly, and I got to know so many of the wounded warriors and the caregivers, the spouses, many of them very, very young, mothers, fathers, taking care of their wounded, and there were so many issues that they were dealing with because of the multiple and the very serious illnesses, wounds, and injuries of their loved one. They were dealing with healthcare systems that had different structures, and they were trying to coordinate all of that. They were worrying about how they were going to handle legal and financial matters for the family. And you know, that's just while they were in the hospital. And, of course, I got to know them very well, was able to visit with them often, have them to our home. And once they got to their home, left the hospital, it was a matter of the challenges increasing enormously, bathing, feeding, dressing the wounded in many cases, providing medical injections and arranging for rehabilitation, benefit issues, all of this trying also to prevent triggers from occurring that might set off an emotional episode that could last not just hours but days, and raising children as well, many of them. So my heart was just pulled by seeing what they were going through.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And, you know, Brian, I think the fact that less than 1% of our population is protecting our freedom and security today, we're separated from the military largely, and we don't really know what's happening in these families, all the responsibilities and challenges that they have. And so I really felt a sense of mission that I wanted to establish a foundation and move forward to do everything possible to raise awareness of these issues and also to find solutions. I commissioned RAND to do the most comprehensive evidence-based research that's been done to date on this particular population and their needs and where there are gaps in services and programs and policies that need to be filled.
Our audience always likes to help out, especially when we talk about our wounded warriors and their families. So if somebody wanted to help out in some way through the Dole Foundation, how might they go about it? ElizabethDoleFoundation.org. And go to that website.
Go to that website, and there are a lot of areas listed for how you can be helpful. Can join a coalition, which I announced at the White House about 3 weeks ago. We're trying to do this in a holistic way, not just the public sector, but the private sector. So please, I hope your listeners will go to ElizabethDoleFoundation.org and join our coalition.
Right.
We would appreciate that very much, Brian.
I know you don't want to be dragged in, and I respect that you don't want to be dragged into what's going on with the VA right now. But when you talk to the families of these wounded warriors, I would assume if one of the difficulties that they may have is getting the proper care. Do you have systems in place to try to help guide them through that system?
Well, certainly, we have heard that many have had difficulties, and we are through the RAND Corporation. There are recommendations in the research that they've done to help. Just to give you an idea of some of the difficulties that might be useful. what they're doing. They're suffering adverse health impacts themselves, including emotional illnesses and immune deficiencies, and depression because of these heavy caregiving duties. And many of them have no doctor, and they lack insurance. And because they're so young, a number of them have had to go into the workforce in one way or another just to be able to provide some income for the family. But in terms of guiding them through the VA system, it's obviously this is a sacred trust with our men and women in uniform, and I think that, frankly, there may need to be a total overhaul here. The way the VA is set up right now, obviously there are so many difficulties that go back 10, 20 years, and it's almost as if we need to stop treating the symptoms and get to the root of the problem. If I could just talk for a moment about when I was at the American Red Cross, I was president there for 8 years, and we literally tried to bring into a state-of-the-art system the blood program at the Red Cross, because it was an antiquated World War II system. And we literally changed drastically the way the Red Cross collected, tested, and distributed 1/2 of America's blood supply.
Right.
And, maybe it's time now for a total overhaul, a real look at the situation at VA in terms of the roots of the problem, not just handling symptoms, but making a total overhaul.
Just on a personal note, we have seen you on the stage here in Washington for so many years as Secretary of Labor, Secretary of Transportation, your time as a senator. Your husband, Bob Dole, is much revered in many circles for his time as majority leader and when he ran for president. What goes on in the Dole household these days? What do y'all do? Where do you spend your time when you're not working on your foundation?
Well, Bob it was really cute. I was putting together the National Advisory Board for the foundation. Donna Shalala is serving on it, and a number of others that you would know. And my husband spoke up, and he said, "Well, Elizabeth, I know a little something about veterans."
Yeah, that's
I
true.
said, "Bob, do you want to be on my board?" And he said, "Yes." But he's very supportive of what I'm doing. And so when we have some free time, we enjoy some of the old movies. We enjoy. We have a little place down in Florida. We've not been there in quite a while, but he loves the sun, and so just sitting out on the patio and taking in the sun, just enjoying being together and cooking a good meal. He doesn't help on that part of it.
All right. Well, listen, it is good to hear you, and listen, all the best with your foundation.
Oh, thanks.
Caring
so
for
much.
Military Families, the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. Go to elizabethdolefoundation.org, and you can get more information about it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Brian.